Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my prediction, I suppose, for Chelsea's starting lineup next season. Now, as you can see, this is what we automatically have after the departure of Azpilicueta, Christensen and Antonio Rudiger, who we are now 100% sure all three of those men are leaving the club. Not ideal, but this does mean one thing. It means that we can go in for a whole shit ton of centre-backs. Now, the new owner's coming in. There's two ways it can go. It can either be we can be like Liverpool and not really buy anyone. But, you know, it's the new owner's first summer and we need a good few signings. So I think they'll go for it. They'll go for a good few signings, whoever they are. And I'm pretty confident in us getting at least a couple of signings in. So, firstly, let's have a look at who is transfer listed. Oh, would you look at that? Romelu Lukaku right at the top, hasn't worked out. He said he wanted to leave, so he can fuck right off. Marcos Alonso, now 31 years old and just getting a little bit too slow for what we're needing. See you later. Ross Barkley never worked out. Batshuayi worked out for a little bit and then just we hated him all of a sudden. I mean, Batshuayi, to be fair, next season, if he doesn't go out on loan, if he proves himself in training, Michy Batshuayi could get himself a chance in the team. If we manage to sell Lukaku, we will need a backup. Maybe Batshuayi could be that man if he doesn't get any offers in. Jorginho, at the age of 30, his value's never going to go any higher. We're never going to make money back on Jorginho because we spent like 56 million on him somehow, unbelievably. God, what a terrible time 2019 was. Anyway, he'll probably be going in the summer. Hakim Ziyech is on here due to a person that is on the shortlist. Depends what happens with him, whether I will or whether we will go in for him, I suppose. Baba Rahman, shit left back. Been out on loan for the last few years. Hopefully we can actually get someone to buy him this year. Emerson, basically the same deal. Didn't really work out at Chelsea. He'll probably be gone to somewhere in France, most likely next season. Maybe Lyon will buy him again. Matt Miazga, American, he's shit. Kennedy, also pretty shit. The Brazilian, 26 years of age. Thought we were getting a blinder when we bought him. How wrong were we? Next up, Christian Pulisic. I've put him on the transfer list over Werner because Werner's form in the last couple of weeks has been better than any Pulisic form since we bought him. So I feel like it's more likely that we keep Werner and sell Pulisic. Also, for another reason, even in-game it knows why. He's always bloody injured, and in-game he's currently injured, so I might not get any fucking offers for him, which is good. Malang Sarr. He's shit. He's just shit. Enough said. Lucas Bergman, don't care. Jake Clark-Sauter is on the loan list. Ethan Ampadu is on the loan list. Lewis Hall is on the loan list. There we are. Right? Now, to the short list. I have gone for 6 centre-back options, 1 midfield option, and 1 attacking option. We'll go for the centre-back options first. Jules Koundé basically confirmed that he's going to be a Chelsea player next season. It's just sort of not happened yet. It was all fine last year. We were practically there, and then Sevilla cock-blocked us. However, Koundé now this season has made it very clear he wants to leave, and I'm pretty sure he's nearing the end of his contract, so Sevilla can't ask for too much for him. So I think Koundé, out of all of the players on this shortlist, is the most likely man to be a Chelsea player next season. So likely, in fact, that we're just going to straight up go in and buy him right off the bat. We're gonna go in there. 59 mil is probably actually more than we'll have to spend in real life. That's fucking taking the piss. You want a guy who's worth 70 mil and then an extra 30. That's... What in the fuck? The current value 52. You want 92 million? Are you fucking with my... Mate, you're clashing with my gist here, you fucking dickheads, right? Lopetegui, whatever you're a twat, right? Anyway, we'll get Koundé in, as I think, and I'm doing this early on, as I think he's probably going to come in very early in the transfer window here. It'll probably be definitely within the first month of the transfer window. I think Jules Koundé will be a Chelsea player, and boom, now he is. Now for the remaining 5 centre-backs, we start with AC Milan's Fikayo Tomori. Of course, formerly of Chelsea, Frank Lampard, I don't know, went full retard and allowed Tomori to leave. Instead of, like, people were saying at the time it's because he had so many centre-backs, but as Piliqueta was aging, he was still 30 by that point, I'm pretty sure. Like, and other than that, we only had Zuma, Christensen and Rudiger, and he was trying to sell Rudiger anyway. So why, I mean, sure, let him go out on loan, but why put an option to buy in there? What's a stupid decision, Frank Lampard? But yes, it has been stated that we are monitoring him and he may come back. Same deal with Mark Gehi. I thought he was actually on loan for a little bit of this season, then realised we'd sold him as well. What the fuck are we doing? Now in England, centre-back. What a surprise. Cobham coming through again and us bloody selling the bastard. I don't know why, but we're keeping tabs on him as well. Next up, Josko Vardial. Maybe. That's maybe how you pronounce it. From RB Leipzig, he's Croatian. He has the power header trait. He can play centre-back and also, interestingly, left-back, which is good as we have no sodding left-back cover whatsoever. Literally none. It's just non-existent. Doesn't fucking exist. So, Josko Vardial. Next up, Frenchman Wesley Farfana from Leicester City. I don't really like this move. I mean, Farfana has been okay at Leicester, don't get me wrong. He had that big fat injury that took him out for ages. But also he gets exposed a lot, and like I don't like this move. We're going to remove him because he's also signed a contract with Leicester until 2027. So no, it's not happening. And finally, Pau Torres, 25 years old. He's from Spain, playing for Villarreal. He's part of the Villarreal team that's miraculously made it to the semi-finals of the Champions League this season. They'll go out to Liverpool though, who will eventually. Will they win it? I don't know. I don't know actually. But yeah, Villarreal in the semi-finals. Pau Torres, one of the players who got them there. He's obviously a good player, but whether Chelsea will go in for him, I'm not sure. I don't think we will go in for Pau Torres, if I'm truthful. So, see you later, pal. Next up, a player who will be with West Ham by this time in real life, but is currently with Manchester City, who again, we're just going to dive right in for. Just pretend that we're talking to David Moyes right now, all right? This is Moyes. This is David Moyes. Declan Rice, of course, again, with trying to take Kante off us. What the fuck? Declan Rice is a Chelsea fan. His idol's literally John Terry. He said that if he joined Chelsea when he was younger, he wanted to be number 26 when he joined Chelsea, to obviously mimic John Terry's number. He's best mates with Mason Mount as well. That's another thing you can throw in there. It is pretty likely, if Rice goes anywhere other than West Ham, that it will be Chelsea. I mean, realistically, he's not going to Man United, is he? I think that's pretty certain that he's not an idiot. So he won't go to Man United. Maybe Manchester City, but City also look like they're going to be breaking the bank slightly on Erling Haaland, which is a bloody worrying prospect for the rest of the league. But, I think it's unlikely he goes to City. So I'm going to go for him coming to Chelsea and stick him just even straight in this starting lineup. He would be taking Jorginho's place, I reckon. And this is how I think we'll be looking right now. So after about a month of the transfer window, I reckon this is the sort of team that we'll be seeing. This kid, by the way, is called Levi Colwill. He's another Cobham Academy graduate. What a surprise. And he's been at Huddersfield this season in real life, and he's been fucking kicking ass down there, apparently. It's sort of in a Rhys James way, in the way that Rhys James sort of just kicked some ass when he was down, when he was in the Championship with Wigan Athletic. That's sort of what Colwill's been doing, to a slightly lesser extent, admittedly. But you know, he'll probably make his way into the Chelsea first team at least a couple of times next season, and then most likely get put on a loan with option to buy list and get sold. No, but yeah, like, he's pretty good. Holy shit, it's Inter Milan for Lukaku. That's interesting. That's weird. Also, Everton want Kennedy. No change in Everton's terrible transfer strategy then. Jesus Christ. Why okay, you know, it's fine. Apparently AC Milan are a team that are looking in for Romelu Lukaku as well, which is, you know, it's something that I can see possibly happening, I suppose, but, like, hang on, did we win the chat? We're in the fucking Super Cup. Did we win the Champions League last season? Sorry, I simmed it. We won the fucking Champions League. Alright, okay, cool, sound, yeah, that's fine. I'm not quite sure how that's happened. How is Yusufa Moukoko a free agent also? Let's just carry on then, let's just ignore that. Interesting, Malang Sarr, Wolfsburg for Malang Sarr. A nice easy league for him, I can see that happening. I can definitely see that happening. Oh shit, I also didn't even talk about this man. Riyad Mahrez, who we've recently been linked with, he's having one hell of a season at Man City. He's been their best player, goals and assists-wise. Yeah, he's doing pretty good. He is basically Hakim Ziyech, except he's better at it. Hakim Ziyech, all he ever does is cut in on his left foot. Mahrez, all he ever does is cut in on his left foot, but Mahrez does it better. So, you know, if we are going for Mahrez, I think it would mean the end of Hakim Ziyech at Chelsea, which I wouldn't hugely mind, honestly. We were heavily linked with Riyad Mahrez back when he was first leaving Leicester City. Nearly had an attack of Hazard, Costa and Mahrez. Jesus Christ, that would have been incredible. But yeah, it didn't happen. Of course, he went to City. And yeah, so he's still at City, but whether we go for him in this career mode and in real life depends on the logistics of Ziyech leaving. Lukaku's gone. We've got an offer for Emerson as well. Another left back. I mean, he's not really good enough, unfortunately, so he'll probably be going. Boom. There they go. Matt Miazga even has a transfer offer. Good lord, even he's getting offers in. The original attempt for Chelsea to cash in on the Americans there didn't really work out, and there he goes. Leeds want Jake Clark-Salter on a 2-year loan deal. Yeah, I can accept that. I think he's another player that we won't be able to sell, but he will go out on loan somewhere. West Ham are wanting Ethan Ampadu on loan. Again, Ampadu, he'll probably go out on loan to hopefully a decent team this year for once. Batshuayi back to Dortmund. He did have a loan spell there, didn't he? Of course. Same thing, we had Billy Gilmour out on loan to Norwich, which is a shame because he went out to a really shit team, meaning that he couldn't really do anything there. And then all the Norwich fans blamed them being shit on Billy Gilmour, which was interesting considering he's literally their best player. But RB Leipzig have put in an offer for Ziyech, which we will be accepting. If Ziyech goes, then we will get in. We'll go in and we'll get Mahrez. I don't think it'll be long. Oh, there he goes. I don't think it'll be long after Ziyech goes that we actually go in for Mahrez if Ziyech does go. Oh, new and improved Burnley, looking for players that aren't English. Anyway, let's go for it then. Hakim Ziyech, having left the club, leaves open this door. And now also, we're thinking this is kind of likely due to Manchester City are buying in Erling Haaland, right? They've also got Josep Alvarez, two, you know, young up-and-coming attackers, which to me states they're going to be reshuffling their attack and therefore allowing at least one or two players to be leaving their side. Mahrez is 31, you know, or he will be by this time. Still a class enough player. So he is definitely someone that I can see us going in for at the end of this season. You know, he's good enough. He's better at what Ziyech does than Ziyech is. So I wouldn't mind Riyad Mahrez joining this side. And now we are left with 3 men on the shortlist: Fikayo Tomori, Josko Vardial, and the other guy that was on there that I can't remember. The other guy. Jesus, I'm being slow. Anyway, Mahrez onto the bench. So we're now a team that is looking like this, with Mendy in goal, Chalobah, Silva and Koundé as the current back 3, Chilwell and James, the wing backs, with Rice and Kante in the middle, Werner left, Mount on the right, and Havertz in centre forward. I would actually probably assume that Rice would not start next to Kante and actually probably take his place in the team rotation-wise for at least one season, and then Kante will probably leave at the end of next season. But just for the game's sake, we'll put Kante next to Rice just to have more transferred players in the starting 11. And then the bench being Kepa, Levi Colwill, Billy Gilmore, Mateo Kovacic, Conor Gallagher, Armando Broja, and Riyad Mahrez there as well. Now, the decision stands. Who are the centre-backs that Chelsea will go for? We've got a bloody loan offer for Loftus-Cheek, which I think Tuchel will probably reject as he quite likes Loftus-Cheek. Realistically, it's probably not going to be Mark Gehi, so we'll get rid of him. But then you get to the mix of Fikayo Tomori and Josko Vardial. Now, Vardial can also play left-back, which is why we're first going to go in for him. Now, him being able to play left-back as well as centre-back is fantastic, because that basically means that he can play whenever, you know, if Ben Chilwell or Rhys James pick up an injury of sorts, or get suspended or can't play for a couple of games, Vardial can just slot into that wing-back role, maybe not perfectly, but definitely better than, you know, Callum Hudson-Odoi or Hakim Ziyech have had to this season, which would definitely be ideal for our team, because as I think I've stated in a couple of videos on the channel, if Chelsea had not lost Ben Chilwell and Rhys James to injury this season, I think we could have put up a much more significant title fight than we ended up actually going with. Didn't go great for us in the end. We might not even get third if this last couple of games don't go in our favour. It's very possible that we manage to even bottle getting third place, but we're going to hope that we don't do that. We're going to hope that doesn't happen. But yes, we've not really got any transfer offers for anyone as of yet in the back. I'm whispering. Yeah. Yes. Success. Successful communication there. Don't ask. Right, we carry on. That's not getting cut out, that's staying in. We do have Ian Matson here, who is also a player who's doing pretty well. I believe he's on loan at Coventry this season. However, I did actually forget to put him on the loan list, but I think he will go out on loan again next season. Therefore meaning Josko Vardial will be the man sort of just in the backup position. I'm also changing his number, as I think Jules Koundé will be number 4 next season, and let's give Colwill a decent number. We don't want him at 35. We'll give Colwill number. Actually, no, tomorrow. Let's carry on. Declan Rice can get his preferred number of 26, and let's have a look see what number they've given Riyad Mahrez. Number 9, absolutely not. He can get number 10. Pulisic will change the number because he will hopefully be leaving anyway. Harvey Vale is another man that I suppose could go out on loan. However, I think he will stay at the club next season and maybe get a couple of cup appearances and just stay and learn under Thomas Tuchel more. I think that's more likely than him leaving. So we now are lining up like this with Vardial on the bench there. However, I think one more change will be made to this side. I think Silva will be put in, obviously, more of a reserve role. He's very experienced, but he's very old at 37. Turning 38 next year he will be, I believe. So, obviously, he's not going to be starting week in, week out. Which means there is, in fact, room for one more new centre-back. That centre-back, in my opinion, would be the best move. Whether we'll go for it or not, I'm not 100% sure, but I can't see us going for Farfana or Torres. And we've already got in Vardial and Koundé. So, since we are keeping tabs on him, he's been performing fantastically at AC Milan. Since he went there for his loan and since he actually just straight up moved there, I think Fikayo Tomori is a pretty likely return to Chelsea. Now, obviously, again, this is meaning we're going to be spending a hell of a lot of money in this transfer window. But if these owners are going to come in and they're going to say, oh, well, you know, we're committed to the club, we want to... If it's Todd Bowley is looking the most likely, which a lot of fans are happy with. I don't really know much about it because I'm an idiot. But a lot of fans are happy with Todd Bowley. He's, of course, an American sports team owner. He owns the, Los Angeles Dodgers or some shit. I don't know. Dodgems are something that we play at carnivals, so they might not be taken too seriously as far as I'm aware, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Anyway, if he's coming in, he has been saying that he wants to commit to Chelsea. He wants to make them a big brand, the biggest sports brand in the world. If he wants to do that, then he's going to have to, you know, just sort of make his appearance known immediately by having a big, fat starting transfer window. And to do that, you know, you need to spend a lot of money. You need to bring in the players that the team need. And I think these are players that the team need. Because now, here we are. The final starting lineup that I can see us having next season. Beginning, Edwin Mendy in goal. Now, don't get me wrong, he's made a couple of mistakes recently, but he's still a class shot stopper. We just need to get his confidence back with his feet. Whether or not Kepa Arrizabalaga will leave next season in the summer, I'm not sure. However, I've not heard us be linked with any single goalkeeper at all, and I also think we can't really afford to buy a new one. So if he does leave, our backup would end up becoming Marcus Bettinelli, who will be 30 years old next season, and, you know, I suppose that is a possibility. Kepa will want first-team football. He will feel like he has earned first-team football. So it is possible Kepa leaves, but if so, I think Bettinelli will be our only backup, which isn't ideal. He's not an awful keeper, but you know, he's not great. Let's just throw it out there. Back three of Jules Koundé, who will actually more likely be on the right-hand side in order to connect with Rhys James. Koundé, basically, he's just a class centre-back. That's all I can really say about these defenders that we're buying in. Jules Koundé, I know for a fact he's a class centre-back. We're very interested in him. The defensive coaches and all that at Chelsea were interested in him. They really wanted him in last season when we did sell Kurt Zouma, and then just got flat-out cock-blocked by Sevilla. It's practically a guarantee that this man is a Chelsea player next season. He's agreed terms on a contract. We just have to agree the money with Sevilla, who are a team that's actually in debt, I do believe. So they probably will have to accept whatever we really want to give them. And he does want to be a Chelsea player, so that one's basically cottoned on. Chalobah on the left-hand side of the back three. He can, of course, play in centre midfield as well. He's been decent this season, despite recently being overlooked for Malang Sarr, but I think Thomas Tuchel has started using his brain. It's clicked in, and he's realised that Malang Sarr is, in fact, shit, and that Trevor Chalobah is a superior defender to him. And I think Sarr will go next season. He's just plain not been good enough. He went out on loan with Porto last season, and he wasn't great, so yeah, I think it'll be Chalobah. In the middle, Fikayo Tomori. It could be quite a few players, but Tomori, I think, is the best option, and I think is the more likely option over, say, Farfana or Torres, something along them lines. I mean, of course, if Villarreal do manage to get themselves to the final of the Champions League and miraculously even win the thing, I think Pau Torres will be a very, very popular customer for just everyone across Europe, maybe then, if so, we would go in for him and try and beat out the rest of the European competition. But if not, which is very unlikely, I think Tomori will be the man that is there. Next up, right wing back Rhys James. He's of course had the best season of his career this season, despite missing out on a month and a bit due to injury. He's come back. He's literally made us a better team just by coming back into it. And him and Koundé down this right-hand side could be a very dangerous pairing. Ben Chilwell, who was just brilliant, really, before his long-term injury in a game against Juventus. He got the injury. He was just fantastic, and if he can recapture that form that he had before his injury, then he's going to be a dangerous customer down that left-hand side as well. I would not want to come up against him and Timo Werner, especially with Werner finally finding his form as well. Stop that. Declan Rice in the midfield, I think it's weird because he's a mixture of the most likely and the most unlikely player to join Chelsea. He's the most likely as in he wants to leave West Ham. Chelsea are his preferred option, and we do like him at Chelsea. He is a player that we'd want to go for. But also, West Ham want 150 odd million for him. He's got a couple years left on his contract. It's going to be pretty hard to get that price down, and that price is pretty damn high. So, I mean, even if the new owners are willing to make a statement, that's one hell of a statement if we do go in and pay that much money for him. So, you know, it's a hard one, but I think it is probable Rice will be a Chelsea player next season, and I think he will be maybe not next to Kante, probably rotating with Kante. He will most likely be in that midfield next to Mateo Kovacic, who has had a good season this year as well. Been a bit of an unsung hero for us in the last couple of years in that midfield. I think Rice and Kovacic will work well in the middle together, and it'll be a pretty annoying midfield to deal with for any other side. Now on this right wing, I reckon will remain Mason Mount. This is our best front three currently and going in future, in my opinion. Mason Mount still quite unbelievably underrated by most fans. People still think Foden's better than him, which is just, look, don't always go off stats, but Mason Mount not only has more goals and assists than Phil Foden, the guy's got more than Kevin De Bruyne, who is apparently the best midfielder in the world. Like, again, don't always go off stats, but just let that one sink in. Mason Mount is better than Kevin De Bruyne. Lol. No, but, you know, Mount, he's a fantastic player, fantastic attacker, will help us out in that attacking role next season. Timo Werner finally finding himself some form. Whether he will keep the form going into next season, I'm not entirely sure. I think he possibly will, as we're seeing both him and Kai Havertz finding form at the same time. Maybe now they have finally adjusted to the Premier League. The shift has happened from the Bundesliga, and they will start to become the players that we all knew they could be. And speaking of Kai Havertz, here he is, the best youngster in the Premier League, even though he's not really that young anymore. Well, 22, I mean, I suppose he is compared to some, but you know what I mean. Kai Havertz, he's been popping up with big goals, you know, he's been a pretty key player for us this season. And I think he will continue to be the first choice striker next season and continue to be such a big player. Exciting times. And the bench as well, you know, Bettinelli, we've touched on already. Levi Colwill, I'm sure will begin to integrate himself into the side. And he'll get quite a few minutes next season, I'm sure. Josko Vardial, I think will end up being one of the only two backup wing-backs we actually have next season, with the other one either being Alonso because we can't get rid of him, or Ian Maatsen because we've got rid of everyone else. So Vardial will be necessary if Chilwell or James get another injury, or even just for rotational purposes when Chilwell and James are fatigued due to the big amount of games. He will also, I'm sure, get a couple of minutes in his preferred centre-back role. You know, it's a free back. Not these three can play every single game, week in, week out. You know, game in the Premier League, this team, game in midweek, maybe Tomori or Koundé stays, Colwill and Vardial come in for the other two, or maybe even Silva comes in. Maybe it's a full back three switch. You know, it could be anything along them lines to get Vardial some game time. We have Kovacic on the bench here, of course, which will be intertwined with Kante or Rice, could be either of the three, as well as Conor Gallagher here. He will definitely get some minutes, probably in a more attacking role, maybe on the wings, maybe in that Kante role. Maybe he'll play instead of Kovacic and it'll be Rice and Gallagher in the midfield. It could be literally anything. Amanda Brozier probably won't start as striker for too many games next season, but I can see him coming off the bench on maybe the 60th, 70th minute mark. You know, just whenever, he'll probably come on and he'll get some minutes, he'll get a run out and probably be pretty decent. Get maybe 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 goals at the most next season would be a good season for him. And then, of course, this could quite easily still be Hakim Ziyech next season, but I'm going for Riyad Mahrez as I think he's a better player. So it would be ideal for us to buy him in. He might be leaving City. You know, we've been linked with him. Why not go for Riyad Mahrez? And they're roughly the same age as well. Ziyech is 30 and a worse player than Mahrez, who's only 31. So you might as well go in for the Algerian. And then in the reserves, of course, we've got Silva, Callum Hudson-Odoi is still there, Ian Matson, Billy Gilmore's more defensive midfield options. You know, Harvey Vale and Lewis Hall have already broken into playing a couple of minutes in the first team. Jorginho and Pulisic will hopefully be gone by next season. No disrespect to either player. Jorginho has been good for us, and Pulisic at times has been as well, but he's just too inconsistent. And Werner has been finding his form and been better than him. So I think Pulisic is most likely to leave. I also think that Alonso and Barkley, whilst Alonso I think will definitely get a transfer away, Barkley I'm not 100% sure about, just simply because no one wants him. Maybe he'll go out on loan somewhere. Who knows? But this, in my opinion, if all goes well with the new owners, is a pretty exciting Chelsea team. Whether this Chelsea team will challenge for the title, I'm not sure. You know, this Liverpool team might be a quadruple winning team by the end of the season, so they're probably going to be in with a shout for the title next season. And so too are Manchester City, absolutely, with some of the people they'll be bringing in. I will be doing a video like this with Man City as well, and probably a couple of other teams, so look forward to that, ladies and gents. But anyway, I think this is a very exciting Chelsea team, and I think it's also a decently realistic Chelsea team, other than maybe Tomori and Mahrez. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Au revoir.